Yeah, all the women want Cloud. They love Cloud, but he's miserable. I don't know why they want him. He doesn't even
Yeah, I don't
care.
know.
Every woman in that game I've come across so far loves Cloud. They all want him. I don't know what it is.
Well,
So I thought I detected a Southern accent in your voice. I think it was when you said egg. Were you born in the South or?
yeah. Actually, more the northern part of the state, but
Yeah, there's definitely a Southern accent there. I just heard it again. I do the same thing as you. I put the large pots. I do the large pots by hand, and then I put the rest in the dishwasher. Otherwise, it takes up too
yes,
much room,
yeah, definitely.
especially like a pasta bowl.
Hmm?
Especially like a pasta bowl. Pasta bowl takes up all the room in the dishwasher.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's true too. But yeah. Oh, you're making me hungry for some fried ice cream.
Oh man, you had to talk about fried ice cream, didn't you? I had like one of those Jimmy Dean bagels for breakfast, so I'm still hungry.
Oh, I don't think I ever had those.
No,
I had those sausage biscuits. Those are good, pretty good.
those are pretty good. Yeah, the Jimmy Dean ones, you're not missing much. That's like my
Oh
quick
yes,
go-to for the morning. But
yes. Okay, so okay, so all right, back on track.
back on track whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We can still talk about pots and pans if you want, but
Yeah. Or we could save it for after.
we could do that. Let's do that. We'll go through the pot and pan interview after the video game interview.
Yes, definitely. Okay. So please tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Well, I go by the nickname of Gorilla. I have a YouTube channel and podcast called Gorilla's Playthrough. The playthroughs are made with a visually impaired in mind. I describe things such as the surroundings, the atmosphere, the characters, and the gameplay itself. At least I try to, sometimes very poorly.
Which which video games have influenced you throughout your life?
That's an awesome question. I like you already.
Thank you.
Brace yourself. There are many. The first I'd say would be Zork. Zork was a text adventure game, so no graphics, just text. It influenced my imagination. So, like to this day, I still remember what the world of Zork looked like to me. For example, if you were in the dark too long, it would say, it's dark and you're likely to get eaten by a grue. And as a kid, that messed with your mind a little bit. Like, what is this grue thing? It wants to eat me. And if you screwed around too long, the grue would eat you. Sure enough. But to this day, I still know what a grue looked like in my head. So Zork was amazing. If I fast forward a few generations to the most recent, it would be Mario Odyssey. The reason why is my wife went through a major life-changing surgery a few years ago. It was a long recovery for her. So I picked her up a Nintendo Switch and two games, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. And someone listening may assume it's because it was a distraction or a time sink, but that's not why at all. The reason why is Mario Odyssey is a joyous game. It just brings a smile to your face when you play it. The other reason is there's this huge open world to explore. So we explored together. We found the hidden moons. It was like a huge accomplishment when we found some of these moons. High five each other, or when we'd explore, we'd say, like, what's that in that lake over there? Or stuff like that. So the experiences with Mario Odyssey, they'll be with me the rest of my life because, it was with us during that tough time. So that's the most recent one. What else? Streets of Rage, of course. Streets of Rage 1, playing with my brother. Streets of Rage 2, with my best friend, doing all-nighters, as you do when you're young, playing and talking. King's Quest, your quintessential adventure game, and Quest for Glory, one of my favorites. Doom, Heroes of Might and Magic, Final Fantasy VII, Deadly Premonition, which was an amazing experience. Like I said, this is going to be a long answer.
All right.
Life is Strange. My brother and I falling in love with Max. There was a game called Crime Fighters, and that was a beat 'em up game. And I had an older friend who played it as well. And one day he wrote me a letter. In the letter, he told me that he and his friend beat this game. And he went on to describe like the levels and the bosses. I was young. I must have read it like 100 times. And I imagine what each of these bosses must have looked like, what it felt like to beat them up. And I think that letter probably influenced Gorilla's playthrough in a lot of ways, because I try to bring that same feeling to the listener, the feeling of what's going on when you're playing and how it feels. So I guess that's a handful of games that have influenced me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
How about you?
I definitely enjoyed playing the I guess the original Mario games.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So I try to play. Well, I still try to play the Legend of Zelda
sure.
games. I'm not very good at those, but they're still fun to play though.
The classic or the newer ones?
Do remember playing the N64.
Oh, that one never gets old. That's a classic.
Yes. Street Fighter, one on the Super Nintendos. I played those, even though wasn't very good at those two.
It's okay.
Mortal Kombat. I played those two, but not very good at those.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
So,
Mortal Kombat, you have to memorize the combos and you have to remember stuff. And I'm not
yeah,
good.
and I really enjoyed like the way you described the I guess with the newer Mortal Kombat with the
That was like,
different fatal.
oh yeah, that was awesome. And it was cool because it was,
that was funny. It's like, man, it definitely gotten better, I guess, over time.
it really has. And they've gotten like really vivid and really creative. Like you have to give them credit for thinking of these creative ways to dismember people. But that was a long one. That was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah, because I can't remember like how gory and stuff the new version is, or the new game is.
Right. Yeah.
Because I can't really see. So
Yeah, it's a funny game. And seeing it for the first time, that was what was kind of cool about that one. Was it was my first reaction. So some of them are just hilarious.
yeah,
Some of the fatalities.
yeah, I had to laugh at some of them. Yeah.
Oh, they're great. They're great. I'm gonna try to do it again sometime. Brandon has been pushing me to do another one. He's like, you gotta try this and you gotta try this, and then we gotta play together. I'm like, man, he's gonna whoop my butt. He's like a trainer in Mortal Kombat or something.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he'll humiliate me if we play together.
Let's see. I still remember playing the original Pokemon games.
Oh, I never got into those, but I always wanted to try.
Yeah, I played. Let's see, the red, the blue, the yellow. I think I played one of the gold or silver versions.
Those were the Game Boy, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Game Boy Color.
The Game Boy Color. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I never had one of those. I never had the first. Yeah, the first portable one I had was the DS, and I know
those those are pretty cool too.
The Pokemon ones on the DS.
I don't think I played those.
Okay.
No, not the newer ones.
Okay. Yeah, the DS was around a long time. Like I think they're still making games on the DS.
I think so too.
But yeah, it was a cool system. I like the Wii U. It's the one that came. Nobody likes the Wii U but me. I'm the only one who likes it. I actually love that system.
Wii U. Oh, yeah. I never really had experience with that.
Okay.
Gaming system, but
it kind of came and went, unfortunately. But I was.
I don't think that one lasted very long. And what was it there was another previous gaming system that didn't last very long.
With Nintendo? It was a Nintendo one or a different console?
Isn't that like Sega Saturn or something like that?
Saturn? That's one of my other favorites. I love the Saturn so much. That might be my favorite console of all time. I love the Saturn.
Yeah, because I remember like playing it once. I think it was like one of the Sonic games or something. I was playing with it, and I think it was one of the video game stores in the mall.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
It was
Saturn,
pretty fun. I don't think that console lasted very long either.
it did not. I don't think the Saturn did, and I don't think the Dreamcast did, but both were phenomenal systems, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the Dreamcast.
Dreamcast was cool. Dreamcast was very innovative. Remember the memory cards that would go in the controllers? Dreamcast was cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There were some real
Yeah.
classics on the Sega Saturn. I still have a Sega Saturn my brother gave me.
Oh,
Yeah, as
nice.
a Christmas gift a few years ago with all these like rare games. I don't know how he got all this stuff, but
Oh wow.
yeah, I've got to get an old TV to play it on though. It doesn't feel right on like,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, you got to have the whole experience.
Yeah, yeah. That would be awesome to do a playthrough with that, or some of the older classics and
Oh, I
the
shall.
older game systems.
Oh, someday I shall. I'm planning to go through
Yes,
some of those.
yes,
That's a good idea though. I'll
yes,
try.
definitely, definitely. Okay. If you could choose any video game series, how would you change them?
I'd say my 2021 answer is to make games in general more accessible, which I think all of us are playing some sort of role in right now in this community. If I'm picking something specific to me, I would like to see Jagged Alliance return to its roots. It was a military tactical strategy game, and it's just been all over the place for a long time. And I feel like a lot of developers these days are bringing certain games back to their roots due to demand. And it would be cool to see that with Jagged Alliance with the right devs.
Oh
But
wow,
that,
that sounds interesting.
yeah, it was a really cool game. It's kind of older though, and like I said, I think there were three that were really good, and then they kept trying, and it just didn't really seem to click with fans. But that said, I'm also a fan of different changes happening now, like Final Fantasy Remake, for example. What a game that is. They took a game I had zero interest in going back to and just made it so incredible that I can't wait to see what happens next.
Oh, that's cool.
It's that one's great. But
Yeah,
Jagged
I remember,
Alliance,
I still remember watching my older brother play the Final Fantasy VII.
yeah. Oh, when that came out, it was amazing. It was at the people say bad things about it now, but at the time it was just it was this awesome experience. It was a beautiful game. Somebody told me that once. I was talking to somebody in Walmart about Final Fantasy VII when it came out. He said it's just a beautiful game, and he was right. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, because I still remember, Cloud having the the spiky,
The spiky hair,
yeah, spiky.
yeah, yeah. It's funny they made him like in this new one. He's miserable. Was he that miserable in the original?
I don't remember. If they stuck to the original storyline, like the original, I guess as close to the original as they could. I don't. I mean, I didn't really follow the story all the way through. So in the original game, so
Yeah, it's funny because I don't remember either. Like I think about that too. Is this similar to the original? Do they do the same thing? My memory's terrible sometimes, but yeah, all the women want Cloud. They love Cloud, but he's miserable. I don't know why they want him. He doesn't even
yeah, I don't
care.
know.
Every woman in that game I've come across so far loves Cloud. They all want him. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but yeah, he's just apathetic to everybody.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Because I don't remember. Like I don't remember if he was like that in the original game.
yeah.
I mean, but it's good to compare if you decide to go back and play, play the original.
Did you play any of the other Final Fantasies at the time?
Um, I don't know. I mean, because I mostly watched my older brother play Final Fantasy. Um, and then I guess I gradually got into it. And playing RPG games because I never really liked playing RPG games until I guess later on. So
Kind
it's
of
pretty
how
fun. So,
yeah, it's kind of how I was too. The RPGs didn't really grab me when I was young, but now they're probably my favorite genre.
yeah, because I think I watched my older brother play Final Fantasy VII, and I think There was one other one he played, but I don't remember which one. So, but I gradually, I'm gradually leaning in that direction. So,
That's cool.
and I hope they have more accessible RPG games at some point. So,
Me too. Me too.
I think those are pretty fun to play with like different characters have different skill types and
Sure.
abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope they start changing some of the formulas too. Like instead of the uh, fighter, mage, thief, the constant, triangle you always see in RPG games. But RPG now is so broad, like everything. I don't even really know what it means anymore. The first one I had was Ultima. That was back on the Commodore 64. And that was like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And that was cool. I think, unless I'm misremembering, it would ask you some questions about
Interesting.
like what would you do if this happened and what would you do if this happened? And that determined which character you were.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it was like 10 questions or something. If you answered a certain way, you'd be like a wizard or a fighter. I never got the one I wanted. I'd go back and try it again and go and try it again. I'd always get like I think it was a mage or something. I've never liked the mages. I've
Oh,
always been the brutes, that's always been my thing. I don't know why.
yeah. And I always enjoyed my older brother playing the I guess I think he played like the original Tomb Raider games. I think those are pretty fun to watch him play too. So
Oh yeah, those are great. They've come a long way too. Like the latest ones just they're pretty brutal, the latest ones. She's
trying to see if I seen. I think I do follow one channel. It was like Dan Zero, I think it was, and like he plays video games. Um, and he played through one of the newer Tomb Raider games, and yeah, it was pretty pretty graphic
pretty graphic,
with
pretty
some
violent.
with some of the scenes. Like he does like commentaries, and I think he when he played Final Fantasy VIII, he actually read through all the like he read out loud all the dialogue. Yeah, so I do follow his channel too. So depending on which games he plays, but he's been playing several Final Fantasy games, and yeah. So
That's cool.
even though sometimes he doesn't describe what he does, but it's interesting though.
What's the name of it again? I'll check it out.
I think it was like Dan08. I can definitely look it up for you.
Yeah, maybe you can email it to me.
Yes, definitely. Because I don't remember his channel right offhand except for the first part of it. But
It's tough with numbers, a name and a number. Sometimes it's
yeah, there was like a name and a number.
okay.
But he does like he's been doing like the Final Fantasy games, and I think he's been out for like a good while. So he's like going back and like playing the remakes, some of the remakes, and like coming back and like playing like the originals, as well. So it's pretty fun.
So
So
comparing the two and see how they've changed and stuff like that.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. So yeah, I haven't watched him in a while though, but I do try to keep up. So
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. I'll have to check it
Mhm.
out.
Oh yes, definitely. Okay. Um, which video games do you like playing multiple times without getting tired of them?
Streets of Rage. Streets of Rage 4. It's just simply a fun, satisfying game that I always come back to for some reason. Skyrim, that would be another, but that's more like of a periodic revisit. And Skyrim is just a combination of the exploration, the music, and the feeling I get in this cold, harsh environment. That makes me come back. Spelunky, that would be another, because every time you play it, it's different.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of randomness in games. I love when things just happen organically on their own. It's a reason why I leave the bad stuff in Baldur's Gate. If somebody in my party gets angry or they want to kill somebody else, I just leave that because it happened in the game, so I want to keep it in there.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't perfect in life, and I don't like them perfect in games. So like
Yeah.
a little chaos here and there.
Yes.
So yeah, but
Um,
going back to it, Streets of Rage 4, love that one.
oh, awesome. Um, okay. What are your thoughts about movies that are based from video games?
From games. I'm glad they exist, but I can't think of many I enjoy. I think like Silent Hill was pretty good. Do you have any experience with that one?
No, I might have heard of Silent. Well, I've heard of Silent Hill, but I'm not sure what the genre or what those
It's like a
games are about.
horror. Yeah, horror, creepy. I think the movie kind of encapsulated the game pretty well, if I remember correctly. It could be terrible. It's been a while, but there aren't too many that I like. When I think of movies based on games, I think of like Street Fighter, the movie. You
Oh
remember that
yeah,
one? That was pretty
yes I
bad.
do. Yeah,
You remember it? I think it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Didn't he play? He played.
he was Guile, wasn't he?
No, was it?
Yeah,
No, was it Guile or was it the bad guy?
Bison.
Bison. Was it Bison?
Maybe it was. It should have been Bison if it wasn't. He shouldn't have been Guile. If he was
Okay,
Guile,
yeah, but yeah, I think it was Bison, I believe.
it was Bison. All right, that makes a little
I
more
think
sense.
so.
Who was Guile? Was it anyone famous?
Guile, wasn't he? I think he was the soldier from.
Right. Yeah, Guile was the soldier, but do you remember who played him?
No, I actually don't.
I mean, I think that was a bad movie.
Yeah, that
That was a
was.
bad movie. Although I hear the new Sonic was okay.
Yeah, I mean, I read about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed kind of funny. I think the Resident Evil games, I think, or movies, I think they have a pedigree too. I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. Well, um, yeah, I've heard of those too, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big horror genre game.
You're not.
But I mean, I listen to audio dramas. Those are pretty fun.
You know, The Last Door that's a creepy game.
Oh, I definitely like The Last Door though. It's
Yeah, because that you've been asking for that one. So you've actually heard what, like, have you seen a playthrough for it or
yeah. Well, he haven't. I know the channel that I follow. It's called Audio Described Gaming.
okay?
Um, I can send you the link to that one, to that
That'll
YouTube
be
channel
cool.
too. And well, he hasn't posted up any video game playthroughs in a while. He does something similar to yours, where he describes and reads, uh, as he's playing different games. And he did the first. He did the first game. So.
The first Last Door.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I think
Yeah,
yeah,
and like the storyline just really intrigued me. So
it's creepy. That's a creepy one. The one,
it's good though. I like it though.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually, I think I recorded the whole thing. I'm gonna send the like the letters in that game. I'm gonna send that to Remy. But
Oh
yeah, it's a
wow, awesome.
creepy game. But we're almost done that one.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm not sure how many games are in that
I think,
particular series. So
yeah, they're in like episodes, right?
um
If I'm not mistaken.
sure, because I know the YouTube channel that did it. I think he does like read the chapter. I don't remember which chapters or episodes. I think it's one or the other. I don't recall. I haven't seen that playthrough in a while. So yeah, but I'll definitely send the links to you. I actually and I have him as a friend on Facebook too. So
That's cool. There's one guy, Sightless Combat. Have you ever seen that one?
oh,
That's phenomenal. Really, really, really cool stuff. That's a good one to check out too, is Sightless Combat.
okay,
And
yeah,
that's
I'll definitely check it out. It sounds
yeah,
sounds sounds awesome.
it's an audio described gaming thing too. The more people who do
Wow.
it, the better, because I would think everybody brings their own kind of unique style to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I do like to, look for different YouTube channels to follow, and so.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's really good.
Okay, do you have any favorite video game voice actors or actresses?
I like John DiMaggio. He plays Marcus in Gears of War,
Oh,
and I think he also plays Juggernaut in one
oh
of the Marvel
wow.
games. Yeah. Oh, and there's a woman named Francesca Hogan. I heard her in a game called Order of the Throne, where she plays a character called Spider Queen. And I just thought it was fantastic. I hope that one day I convince her to perform on Gorilla's playthrough. But
Oh wow, that's awesome. See, I sounded like she was like brutal in that game.
yeah,
Just the way that I guess the name sounds. I don't know if she was superhero or villain or
the Spider Queen. Yeah, it was really like this sultry, uh, kind of like you said, kind of evil, but just that's the thing about these voice actors is I think I was telling you I have this different appreciation for them now. They're actors. I used to say voice work, but it's performances. They're
yeah.
actors, and the little subtle nuances, when I edit them and I hear them, can just change everything so much. It's really amazing. These people are masters of their trade.
Yes, definitely. Um, what are your favorite video game soundtracks that you listen to often?
I listened to a few. I listened to a few songs from the Final Fantasy 15 soundtrack. One is called Sunset Waltz. Check that one out sometime. It's really beautiful.
Okay, oh, awesome.
Yeah, another track from the same game is called Wanderlust. That's one I listen to every now and again. Uh, I sometimes listen to the Skyrim soundtrack. I think that's it. Oh, I actually had one played at my wedding dinner. I had a jazz version of Balrog's theme from Street Fighter 2, back to Street Fighter 2.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, I knew that my brother and our friend were going to be there. They were sitting at the next table, and I just so happened to crush them pretty bad when I use Balrog. So I taunt them a lot too when I use him. So they get pretty aggravated, and thus I played the Balrog theme at the wedding just to see the reaction, and it was worth it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I listen to some video game music sometimes. How about you?
Yeah, I listen to I definitely like the Sonic 2 um soundtrack.
That's a classic.
Yes. And I have definitely the original Mario game soundtracks.
Another classic.
Yes, yes. I like the which one? Uh the uh the battle theme song from Final Fantasy 7. The battles begin and like, you know
Ooh,
like when you're going into the fight the
like
fighting scene, there's the yeah, there's that
the battle theme.
yeah, yeah.
That's a classic too.
Yes, yes.
I
And
think they kept the like short song after you win the battle, I think, in the newer one.
oh, the victory theme.
Yeah, the victory theme. You hear that a lot now.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah. Keeper's theme is pretty fun too. I guess I could bring this up too. So I do I play the piano in one of the lessons that I had purchased from Bill Brown's music. He actually taught how to play Aaron's was it Aaron's theme?
In Final Fantasy 7?
I think it was yeah, I think it was Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, I think it's Aerith, right? The girl?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it Eraf's?
Yeah, maybe
I think it was
Aerith.
Eraf's or something. Or
Oh, okay.
so yeah. So
There's
that's
some
pretty
good
cool.
Yeah, there are some really good ones in that. There's just a lot to pick from in Final Fantasy 7.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So you played on the piano.
I do. Well, I'm learning how to play it. So
That's
at
cool.
least the beginner version of it. So
Right, right.
and he also teaches the intermediate version as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cheapest theme I like.
Tifa's theme was a good one.
Yes, yes. Yeah, those are the main ones I listen to. So.
That's cool.
Mhm.
The remake, Final Fantasy VII remake has some really good ones too. Really, really good ones. It's cool to revisit. Like I like to listen to certain songs a year or two later because it reminds you of the game itself and kind of the experience.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool to go see the video games orchestra play. That's pretty.
That would be cool. I've seen some of those on YouTube.
Yeah, it's like pretty cool. I actually bought. I funded one of their last Kickstarter campaign, and I think it was like level 6 album. I think it was. So
Okay.
because they had the original theme, the original Pokemon theme song
Oh, that's
with the
cool.
original singer, um, Jason Page. I think his name
Jason
was.
Page. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, I didn't know he was the original singer of the Pokemon theme song, but
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool that he was able to collaborate with Video Games Orchestra, and he was able to be on that particular album. So,
That's awesome.
hmm do you have any experience playing audio games?
I do not, but I would like to try one. What do you recommend?
There's one on. I'll send you the link to it. It's called. I think this. Well, the game is called Dark Passenger,
Dark Passenger?
and it's by. I think it's by Idea Cabin. I think it was.
Okay.
But I'll send you the link too for the Steam version of the game. You
That would be great.
basically, yeah. So yeah, you basically the premise is you're basically, um, well, you're basically you wake up from like the beginning part still scares me, but basically you wake up and like you're breathing heavily because your eyes you just had surgery to remove your eyes. So you basically had to use, there's different sound cues, and you had to go explore the room that you're in, and it's a pretty good storyline so far.
So pretty
Um,
creepy. It's kind of like a suspenseful game.
Sort of. Well, you have to figure out kind of what happened to you in terms of like, um, well, I'm starting a part where I'm trying to escape, um, where they put me, like where I'm at. Like they basically, I think they like kidnapped me, and we had this guy that's helping me at the moment, and I'm at a part where the person who was helping me like he kills a woman that's at a desk sitting at a typewriter. So as he's trying to kill her, I'm trying to sneak to the next room without getting caught by this security guard, and like he basically like, so it's a really good audio game. I really,
So you're still in the middle of it.
yes.
You gotta tell me how it ends. Now you left me at the suspenseful moment.
Yes. I mean, I don't know how long the game is because I'm still trying to sneak out, and you have to like figure out like what happened to you. I can send you the audio described gaming. We did a little promo before it was released, so you can kind of have an idea of what the game's about. He didn't yeah, he played through it before the official game was released. So
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to check it out. How long
yeah,
is
yeah, it's
like
a really great audio game. And I think there's another one. I think there's another one on Steam called. I think it's called The Last Legend. I think it was, and
okay?
you're basically playing as a blind knight, um, and your daughter's helping you get around, and I mean, it's a good storyline too. So,
So like a medieval themed.
sort of medieval.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of medieval. Because I don't remember what the storyline was, but you basically had to escape some bad guys, and like it I think it'd be good to expand the storyline at the end, but you have to figure out who's wanting to try to come after you, and
Sounds cool.
Mhm.
I like games with knights and medieval themes. I've always liked that for some reason.
Yeah. This one's kind of medieval. Yeah, and there's I think there's some other pretty cool uh, uh, RPG games too, audio games as well. So
How long is a typical audio game?
it depends on um good question.
Usually a
It
few
kind of
hours.
depends on the playthrough, and like there's one game and it hasn't been updated in a while. Um, at least well, I definitely need to update it though. But
Okay.
it's pretty cool. There's like different sound cues, and it depends on how expensive it is. So, but they have like really good short audio games too. So,
Okay.
it kind of depends on the playthrough. Well, for me, it's depends on the playthrough and how many times know, how many times you died.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So it sounds like similar to mainstream games as far as the
Yes,
game length.
yes. Yeah, it kind of yeah. So it depends on what genre it is too. So
Okay. Are RPGs typically longer?
yeah, I find they are
Okay.
at least in my opinion. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're the pretty cool. Oh, there's one I like. I don't know if you like to play the those idle RPG games. There's one called um Land of Livia. It's a text. Well, it's kind of a sort of a text idle RPG. Well, and you it's pretty. I'm on chapter 2 at the moment, and you basically start out um, in this. I think you start out like on a farm. You have to figure out different. There's a storyline based on it, so you have to like go through different quests in different cities, and like it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. So you go to different cities to buy certain items, and you go on like quests to. Yeah, it's a really I find it's a pretty detailed, accessible accessible game. So
And you said it's an auto RPG?
it's more like a I find it's more of a it's not necessarily audio, but it's more of a text
Text.
um,
Okay.
text. But voiceover does read all the text that's on there. So and like there's a
Gotcha.
little map. There's a like map that I could kind of see. So like as I'm like it's like different cities and voiceover would read you like which city which location. It's a pretty fun game.
So the
And like as
description.
you're doing quests, let's say however time you how much time you need to do the quest, and you could just close the app and do whatever and come back and like, oh, you're done with the quest. So
Oh, okay. That's cool.
yeah, I really like it so far. I'm currently stuck at the moment, but I'm trying to get this explosive device from this from a forbidden fountain is where I'm at, and I'm trying to find this explosive device to go explode some rocks in
Nice.
a cave or something.
Nice.
Yes, it's a really good idle RPG game to kind of
Kill
pass
some
the
time.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a
So
really good storyline. I find so.
that's cool. So the with the voiceover, they'll read you the map. When you have the map,
Yeah,
it'll
I'll read you like the location
okay.
as I'm going around. So like right now I'm at the Forbidden Mountain at the moment, and as I wipe my finger, it'll tell me, Clara's Canyon. I could just type on that, and there's like different options I could do. That if I want to travel there, there's an option for that. And there's that information I could type on, and like it'll tell me the different quests that are in that location. So in VoiceOver, read that, and I find it's a pretty fully accessible server game.
I'd like to try one because I read about a lot of them now on the forums where I had no idea what they were before I started doing this. And I want to get a feel for what the experience is so I can see.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. So at least, and like the developer is pretty responsive too. So, and I hope he like makes more games or expands that. I'm not sure. I guess he could expand that story, the storyline he just finished, but I haven't gotten to the to the last chapter yet. So
Are you almost there?
no, I'm still on chapter. I think I just started chapter 3, 2 or 3,
Okay.
and there's like 4 chapters. So, but I'm not sure how the ending is. So
You'll have to keep me
I
updated.
hope there's a good ending to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Nothing worse than you go through a game, you get a quick rushed ending that leaves you hanging. You know it's going to go into the next one, and give me some kind of closure to this game.
Yes. Yes.
Rampage was the worst. I'll never forget Rampage back on the Nintendo, the original. We played that game you remember Rampage with the monsters that would climb the buildings? It was like
buildings. No, I don't.
There was like a King Kong and like a Godzilla, the equivalent of them. And we played all night. My friend and I, we played this Rampage game all night. We're going to beat it. We anticipated this amazing catastrophic ending. And it just said, congratulations. That's all it said. We didn't even know what to say to each other. It was this complete moment of disappointment. I'll never forget that. When I think of bad endings, I think of Rampage. Borderlands had a really bad one too, though, if I remember correctly.
I don't think I've heard that one either.
Yeah, Borderlands I played it by myself. I didn't have anybody to play with. That's kind of like better experience than co-op, but I just remember the ending being terrible.
Oh,
I don't finish too many games, so that's why I want a really good ending, because I have a bad tendency of going from one to the other without finishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know. I find it's good to play through games too, so to kind of see how the ending is, depending on which game you play too.
Sure.
Okay, if you could be any video game character, who would you be?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I've never really had a desire to be like a superhero or anything like that. I don't know. I was once told that I look like that Majima guy from the Yakuza games, which is not a compliment by any means, but maybe I'll go with him so I don't stray too far from myself. He seems kind of happy all the time. You know who I would pick? Storm 1 from Earth Defense Force. Have you ever heard of that game? Earth Defense Force? That's a really action-packed. It's a really fun game, but I would pick him solely for the job description. They protect the Earth from giant insect invaders. I mean, how cool is that you can say that's your job description?
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does he go out to to the outer space and stuff?
Yeah, no, it's on Earth. So the giant insects invade the Earth, and
oh wow, that's pretty cool.
They're cool because they don't talk much either. They just get business done. So I think I'd go with Storm 1. That would be my answer.
Oh wow, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Do you have any favorite video game developers?
Developers? That's a good question.
Like Squaresoft and.
You tell me yours first, and then that'll give me a chance to think of mine.
I definitely like I said, I still like I don't know if Sega is still around. But
Sega, there you just answered mine. You can't go wrong with Sega. I think they publish now.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the Sega, especially the Sonic franchise and the Nintendo. Well, I mean, Squaresoft is pretty. I mean, I definitely commend them for doing the Final Fantasy series.
Sure.
Yeah, so those are mine. So
I like there's one. It's a Japanese developer that they just seem to consistently put out games that are my style. I forget the name though. They did a lot of DS games, and
Huh.
yeah, I can't think of the name, of course. But when I think of it, I'll email it to you. But I
Okay,
can't.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm really bad with like developers names and keeping track of who does what.
Yeah, yeah, but it's good to, I find it's good to kind of see what what they come out with, and
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I can't think of any offhand.
okay, no problem. Okay, what are your thoughts about video games that use VR?
VR. I've never played any before. I still have no desire to get an Oculus or anything like that yet. So no experience other than what I've been kind of hearing about it as time goes on. It seems like it's starting to come into its own, but I think you need a lot of room for that. And I don't have a lot of room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it'd be cool to experience,
I think so too.
just to see what it's like to play games in virtual reality.
Yeah. I'm pretty clumsy though. I might knock over the printer. That's my concern with virtual reality.
I saw this one video of I don't know, I think it might have just came out or something like that. And I was watching this, I don't know if I saved it in my favorites on YouTube, but they had this guy, he was playing the original, I think it was the original Zelda game. He was like, yeah,
On
it
VR.
was pretty interesting.
It was Zelda on VR.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. I got to check
I think
that
it was
out.
like Zelda or Mario or something like that. It's like, oh, that's pretty pretty interesting. So,
That
but
sounds
yeah,
cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing what develops of it and how, as I guess it advances, it as it improves. So,
Well said. I think when it first came out, it seemed like it was kind of an experimental phase and it was just not really interesting to me. But now, the more I hear about some of the new ones, I think Doom, there's a VR Doom, and that's supposed to be really good, I think. But
oh yeah, I've been playing those games too.
yeah, Doom.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Uh,
what is it? Windows. Oh.
floppy disk. It was
Yeah,
the small floppy disk. Shareware. There was a shareware version of Doom.
I think so.
Yeah. It was Wolfenstein 3D, and then there was a shareware version of Doom. But Doom was, I mean, such an amazing game.
Yeah, Doom and Quake. Oh yeah.
Quake. Oh yeah,
Yes.
Quake. Quake was amazing.
Yeah.
And at the time,
I always enjoyed playing those games too, even though I wasn't very good at them.
yeah, I'm the same way. I used to play with my best friend when we were younger. We'd play everything together, right? Regardless of how much sense it made. Oftentimes it didn't make much sense. So I would control the Doom guy, right? And he'd press control to shoot.
Mhm, yeah.
So we were like the Doom team, but
Oh, nice.
yeah, we used to do everything together. But yeah, I remember those days. Doom was great.
Oh, yes, yes, definitely.
Pretty kind of scary at the time, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. It was pretty scary too.
Yeah, there's that. It was the noise. I think the noise that some of those monsters made. It. The devil-like one with the horns. You just make this ghastly noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doom was awesome.
Yes, yes. And like, oh, I think the graphics were pretty good at the time, I think. But
Oh yeah, at the time there
at
was
least what I was able to see.
okay. You think it's not going to get any better than that, right? At the
Yeah.
time, like, I just can't get any better than this. This is the pinnacle of graphics.
Yes, yes.
It's funny how that Quake 2, when Quake came out, that was the CD-ROM era, I think.
I
And
think so. I don't recall, but
yeah, and like all the 3D stuff started coming out, and you thought, man,
yeah,
this
I
is
know
games.
that was like pretty cool at the time too.
It sure was. You don't think it's going to get any better, but when I think of virtual reality, I think of remember that movie, The Lawnmower Man, by any
No,
chance?
no.
That was a bad movie, but at the
Sounds like
time,
it.
yeah, oh, it's really bad. But at the time, at the end of the movie, he's shooting bees out of his mouth. I think we'll probably cut out this part.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll probably cut out the Lawnmower Man part. I
Yes.
don't know why I thought of that.
It's all right, no worries. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying our interview.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, have you attended any video game conventions?
I have not. I have not. How about you?
No, I haven't, but I mean, I like to definitely, attend one, whether it be virtually or, because I do kind of like to see what the new titles are coming out and depending on which game franchise and which manufacturers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to check one out sometime. I think everything got changed this year because of COVID. I think
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
like everything else.
Yes, definitely.
But no, never been to one. When I leave the house, I really talk very little about games with others. Not for any other reason that most people I deal with don't play,
I see.
but I would like to go. I would like to check out a gaming convention.
Yeah, it'd be cool to test out the games too, and like the ones that are coming out. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
see if
yeah.
you like them, that'd be pretty cool too.
Definitely. I'd like to check one out in Tokyo. I'd like to
Oh
go.
yeah,
You
yeah.
too?
I think those are pretty popular too.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't.
I would love to go. I would love to go check out the arcades, check out, like you said, the gaming conventions. Everything just seems a different appreciation for games.
That's definitely. Yeah, I think those are pretty fun to go to.
Yes, ma'am.
Similar to how movies have place settings. Which places would you visit based on video games?
Like a video game location.
Yeah.
I think there was a game talking about Sega again. There was a game called World of Illusion on the
Hmm.
Genesis. Do you remember that one?
No, I haven't. Sounds
It,
interesting.
yeah, it was a Disney game and it had this very mystical, enchanting feel to it. So my brother and I would play it around Christmas time every year. And the setting in that game was just magnificent. I would love to visit that world. That was a really cool uh, setting they had. And one stage was a big dessert level, right?
Oh,
So it was just like elaborate cakes and cookies all over the place. So maybe it's because you and I were talking about food, but
yes, yes.
but I would like to visit that. I would love to visit that level. That was a cool game too. I wonder what happened to that.
Oh, wow, awesome. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
Let's see. Oh, and I think that, well, I think we're already.
Is
What
that
are your favorite? What are some of your favorite books to read?
I typically go the audiobook route because I drive a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to mostly nonfiction, ironically. One of my go-tos is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I also listen to like Pimsleur books to brush up on languages.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I like the great courses, stuff like that. But I did listen to one fiction book a year or so ago. It was from the Forgotten Realms universe. It was called The Crystal Shard. And
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it was really cool. It's similar. It's in the Baldur's Gate universe, the Forgotten
Oh,
Realms universe.
wow.
So that was really cool. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Oh man, yeah, I would have had to check that one out.
Yeah, it's a long series. My brother actually got me into it. I mean, there's just tons
Oh
and tons of
wow,
those
yeah, I would
books.
definitely like to start reading that.
Yeah, it was called The Crystal Shard, and it was
Okay.
pretty good. I like a good audiobook. I like a good audiobook and the narrator can really make or break the book.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
You too? You listen to audiobooks?
Yeah, because I started listening the um to the Dresden Files series.
Oh, I saw that on Audible. I think I saw that being advertised at one point.
The one that's written by Jim Butcher,
Okay.
narrated by James Marsters.
Okay.
He's the
How
same actor who played Spike and Buffy, the
Oh, okay.
Vampire Slayer.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I really enjoy that series. I like the way James does the different voices and
Oh, okay. So he does So he's a good narrator in that book.
Yeah, yeah. I think he does other books too. So I really like his narration.
So what is the Dresden Files? It's like a suspense.
It's a supernatural fantasy, urban fantasy um genre.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Oh yes, yes. It's pretty some some of the storyline is pretty vivid.
Okay,
But it's a really great series though. I really enjoy it.
I'll check it out sometime. I need a new good audiobook.
And I think it's supposed to be like a 23 like 23 book series, I think.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, and it's on 15 or so, give or take, 14, 15, somewhere around there.
Wow, that's a lot of reading.
Yes, yes. Well, so far I'm caught up. So, but I started reading Peace Talks. So
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty good so far. So it's the storyline is getting interesting, especially um, relationships that it's kind of crazy. Some of the family dynamics of the different
And what is that one called?
species. It's called Peace Talks.
Peace Talks.
Yeah, is the title of the book.
Okay.
It's still part of the Dresden Files series.
I gotcha. And you recommend that one?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The first book is called Stormfront. So it's the first book of the series.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes from there. Like man, I think I read the first book in like one sitting.
Really? So it's engaging.
Yes, I find it's pretty good if you like supernatural urban fantasy. Um, so it's really I find it's really good. He's a wizard and he basically like solves supernatural cases and he deals with supernatural monsters and everything else in between. So
That sounds cool. I like that type of
yes,
stuff.
it's pretty cool. So it's not as I find it's not as bad as like me. I tried reading the Game of Thrones series. I tried reading the first book. I'm like, oh no, too much.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I think I made it halfway through the first Game of Thrones book, but I just couldn't deal with the content.
Content. It was a
Yes,
little too vulgar.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I watched the first season of it while back. I like I said, I like that setting. I like the medieval theme. Once I started it, it was like one of those things where you want to see the next episode and the next one. But after first season, for some reason, I just didn't continue with it.
I tried, and like it was like too many characters for me to keep track of too. It's like
Okay.
as well. I mean, I like a good storyline, but I like a smaller amount of people, a smaller cast of characters for me to kind of keep track of too. So
Too much going on.
yes,
I see.
and like it's interesting to how the family dynamics work too, like back then in terms of the medieval period too, and especially with some of the relationships that they had in that book, and like, oh no. But I guess I understand it from a historical perspective. I guess I understand it that way,
Right, right.
but reading it for enjoyment, no, not so much.
Not your thing.
Yeah,
Well, I'll have to check out Dresden Files sometime.
yes, it's a really good book I find. So, and there's some interesting relationships too in there too. But
Okay.
it's not as intense.
Okay. Not as intense
You're
as
dealing
Game of
with
Thrones.
different. You're dealing with red. Well, you're dealing with what they call the white vampires and the red. Well, they had the red vampires, but I'm not going to tell you what happened to them. But let's just say main character in the Dresden Files uh, his brother, or his half brother, I should say, he's he's part white vampire, and he basically has to feed off of people's life energy in a way. So
Okay.
kind of sustain his. Well, he basically craves like sexual, like um, like sexual desires, but he has to kind of contain that as well. So
Huh.
it's interesting.
So what is the red vampire?
Oh, the red vampires. They basically had world domination, and
Okay.
and well, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I just say he basically had to kill them off.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got to check this out sometime. It sounds cool.
yeah, and like there's other pretty pretty intense monsters, like, well, depending on which creature you're talking about, but they have pretty intense pretty intense monsters in there, put it that way.
Cool.
You know, which book which you're reading. So, but yeah, it's a pretty good. Yeah, so the main character had to basically basically kill off that whole species because the what was it? Yeah, so if you get bitten by, it was either the red vampires or the white ones, you basically slowly turn into them. But yeah, so and at the time, main character's girlfriend had been bitten, but she didn't exactly start to change yet. But there was a process to kind of slow it down, and he basically had to sacrifice her to kill off the red vampires.
Oh,
Yeah, and like some of the relationships, like the white vampire, the brother, um, Thomas is his name, and he's involved with I think her name was Justine, I think it was,
okay.
and she's I think she's like half. She's like half human. I think it was like she's like very frail and stuff, and like so he has to be careful with her because like I said he has to feed off of her in terms of kind of control his cravings, shall we say?
Okay. It's a good word for it.
Yes, yes. So he just had to keep that in check too. So,
Yeah, yeah. Not
but
easy
yeah,
being a
it's a really
vampire.
good, yeah. And they have other crazy family dynamics, and yeah, and like he finds out about his family too, and yeah, yeah.
That's
It's a
cool.
really good. I find it's a really good storyline,
It's
and
cool.
like some of the books are like wow, especially finding out some character trails too. I'm like, oh
Oh, so a lot of plot twists.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and some of the like scenes were enough to kind of like I said this not going past it, just a little bit,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. But it's not as bad as Game of Thrones, but it's enough to like nope get past that part. But overall, it's a really good series.
Okay.
I find so if you like all
That type of stuff. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Like it's kind of like music. I'll give anything a shot, fair shake. I don't have any genres that I really don't, that I stay away from. So I would definitely check something like that out. I like science
Yeah,
fiction
yeah,
too.
I definitely enjoy those, and I have a couple of audio dramas that are Star Trek related. So
Okay,
those are pretty fun. So
that's cool.
mhm. Yeah, I definitely like those, and I do enjoy the we're live audio dramas. Those are pretty fun to listen to.
Okay. So
It's
what's
called
it?
yeah, it's called We're Alive. Story of survival.
And that's a good one.
Oh yeah, it's a really good audio drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is considered an audio drama? Is that just a genre?
I find it's I don't think it's really based on a book, but it's basically a pretty good storyline with different actors. Um,
Oh, so it's like a theatrical. Okay.
so look at the theatrical drama. At least in this particular series, at least the original series, follows a group of three military people in the military, um, and they were, but basically the first episode goes into um, they have they were basically working, and they like one of the main characters named Michael was his name, and he does the military intelligence, like he was, yeah, specialized in that area, and he hears on the news about um, people basically getting torn up and stuff, like by zombies, and it's a pretty good storyline too. It's pretty elaborate.
Okay. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, and he goes and try to get he goes and tries to get hold of two of his other um, military men, and they basically it's a story of survival. So they had to work out how to like kill these zombies, and at first I didn't know what it was because um, and then like because they had to lock themselves in, in one of the military gun, the lock box, whatever, and so they had to figure out like what's attracting them to the loud noises, and it's a really good storyline too. So
So are you a fan of zombie type
yeah,
storylines?
yeah, I was first drawn to that when I first heard about it on an audio in another audio podcast.
Okay.
And that's how I learned about the We're Live series. So
That's cool.
mhm. And like the storyline is pretty graphic too, but it's enough for me to deal with. So
It's within that threshold.
yes, yeah. Then like the follow up series is pretty interesting too. It's within that same time frame, but a different part of the story. But it kind of goes into what happened in the prison during that time frame. The main story was took place, so that kind of explains what happened in that prison. So
Okay.
and then I think they're working on the next series. So and they had the I haven't finished the newest one, the We're Alive Gold Rush, which is another mini story that expands the main one. So that's
Okay.
another good one too. And is other ones that are coming out too that I'm looking forward to. So
So they're continuing to do it.
yes,
That's cool.
yeah, with different characters and different storylines, and it's awesome. I really like the way I can't remember who does the We're Alive series. Okay, Casey Whalen was his name. So
He's the author.
yeah, he does all the writing and stuff.
Okay.
The characters, yeah. Mhm.
So Dresden Files and We're Alive.
Really good audio dramas.
Can you get those on Audible? The audio dramas?
I'm trying to remember. The World Live is on. You could have it on Apple Cast.
Okay.
Any podcatcher. Yeah, it should be like I use
Overcast?
Overcast. Yeah,
Okay.
I have it on Overcast. Or
Cool.
any Apple or any podcast catcher, you should be able to find those.
Okay. Cool. I've got something to go off now.
Yes, definitely. So I find it's pretty gripping too. So
Nice.
but I would definitely skip the episodes where they kind of this is what happened. I would skip those because I think you don't want to listen to like the recaps and stuff. So I would
Don't
skip
spoil
those
it.
episodes. So
I see. So they contain spoilers.
yeah, kind of like here's what happened and yeah,
Okay.
it kind of does a little bit, but it's more of a recap.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I did have a special Patreon podcast that I do where, well, I paid $1 to, just to listen to keep up with, like, hey, this is kind of what happened during recording and stuff, the original, and then do interviews with the original cast of the We're Live series and stuff. So it's pretty interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a really, really good series, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Casey Whelan has to offer in store. So he's working on the next couple of series, give or take. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's a really good drama, and like I cry, I cry through some
Do you?
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially
When someone's gone.
Hmm?
When somebody is gone from the storyline.
Yeah, especially like I remember listening toward the second series called Lockdown, and they had this main bad guy's called Ink, and he had just he basically made this pretty really tough monsters that no one really haven't really figured out how to kill off. And one of the characters, he was Spanish, and he and he was pretty tough, and unfortunately he got killed.
That was one of the sad moments for you.
Yes. Especially the main storyline, and like they had this one part where Tattoo was his name, and he was imprisoned in room and had his glass, and in front of the glass they had basically a pit of basically where they went and like where the zombies would go and collect you, and then they basically go and kill you. And they she said, hey, when they come and get me, don't whatever you do, don't look, and you could hear like you could hear the actor who's doing he's playing the woman, the girl like screaming and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So it was intense.
yes, yeah. I could see, he was affected too, and he sacrificed himself too. So at the end of the series, but
So it's pretty brutal.
yes.
Cool.
It can be, yeah. And there's some pretty funny parts too. So
So a little bit of everything.
yes, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall it's a really good, really good audio drama.
Good series. Nice.
Yes, good series. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, because I like stayed up like most of the nights, like I gotta listen to the next one. And I know it's like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Because I think each episode is like 30 minutes long. It depends on the episode, but I think it's about 30 minutes, give or take.
Okay.
Maybe a little longer. but it's so good though.
I can tell you love it.
Yes, yes. Especially, three military guys starting out and have their they have their different guns and um and they're trying to survive this zombie apocalypse and find other survivors and they try to figure out, who's doing what and how to figure out how to kill these zombies and yeah. And then, the cast does, I find they did a really good job casting. So Bobby! I just realized it was wow.
Is that lunchtime? Is that the lunch
Yes, it's
bell?
lunchtime.
Ah, that's gonna be your outtake. Only if you want, though.
Yes, definitely.
Nice. Well, it's been a
But
pleasure.
yeah, it was great talking to you.
You
But
as
I
well.
definitely have to go.
Thank you very much for interviewing me. It's an honor.
Thank you, and I appreciate having you as a guest.
It's my pleasure. So next time, maybe I'll interview you. Like I said, you're a lot more interesting of a person than I am. So
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to being interviewed.